Hello my friends, welcome to the metal shop. We're working on the Fast Eddie Clarke Ace of Spades tribute guitar. I did put some natural stain on this last night after I finished sanding it, and you can see unfortunately I've sanded through to the grain in a couple spots. I believe what happened here is there's a sandable grain filler that you paint on that fills the grain, and you know, here I've sanded through it in a couple of spots. It really doesn't look like Eddie's right now, it's too light. I'm going to try a darker stain, and who knows, I mean, this could be a completely different species of wood than Eddie's was. I just don't know. This one, and you know, why did he sand it down in the first place? This is just a wipe stain. Again, it's a little darker than the natural. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. I don't want to tip this up to dump it. I think you can see that a little bit. But it's a wipe stain, kind of a caramel burgundy color. It goes on pretty thin, and you don't really see that much through it. I really need to darken this up to make it look like Eddie's. Again, unknown why he stripped the finish off of his. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Like an amusement park ride. Probably the same reason his like this guitar. His was probably a sunburst, and it was kind of de rigueur to, you know, strip it down to a natural finish. Guitars were actually popular in the late 70s, early 80s. You know, his probably had a finish on it that he didn't like this, you know, a sunburst, something like that. You know, the most famous guitar that I can think of like that is Jakey Lee's #1. Look at that tiger striping that you have there, where the sealer's gone and sanded through to the finish. I may end up having to sand through this whole thing to try and get it more even. I mean, I maybe not. Who knows? I mean, this is a parts guitar. This is a parts caster. You know, this is total hack job. I'm sure you guys watching who are competent woodworkers are going to be like, "Oh my God!" But you know, this is going to be, you know, maybe a $500 guitar when we're done. And I just hope it plays and sounds good. You know, it'll never be a high-end custom instrument. Anyway, back to Jakey Lee's guitar being one of the most famous guitars stripped down. That one started out life as a sunburst 70s Stratocaster, probably very much like Fast Eddie Clarke's. And he stripped it down, and then later, a friend of his, or his roommate who worked at the Charvel Jackson factory, took it, painted it white for him, and shaved down the headstock, put a Charvel logo on it, and you know, that became a, you know, he even said, you know, he wanted to be like the cool kids who had all these awesome guitars and graphics, and his was a sunburst and he just didn't want it. And Eddie Clarke, you know, probably the same thing. Maybe the guitar he had didn't sound good, and he thought stripping the finish would, you know, improve the sound. And you know, if you ever, there's a couple of good clips on YouTube of Eddie just playing his guitar in later years when I still had the Kaler on it, and it sounds pretty good. He had the X2N, and in that time there's a really great video of him playing Ace of Spades and a couple other Motorhead songs. So anyway, you can just wipe the stain on. It's pretty forgiving. You know, you can put lots of coats on. You know, I'm just using a rag here. You wipe it on. You know, you wipe it off. Try and give it a uniform appearance. I'm sure you guys, competent guitar builders and woodworkers out there, like I said, they're just going to be mortified by this project. But I just, like I said, I just want to play and sound good. Be a reasonable tribute to Fast Eddie Clarke. I am going to put an oil finish on top of this. It does need some sort of preservative. You know, Eddie's did have a little bit of a sheen to it. I don't know if it had a clear coat, a polyurethane clear coat, you know, something like that on top of it. Again, his did have a little bit of a sheen. I'm going to use oil, probably going to do some true oil. I have my own special oil that I've talked about before, but that's kind of got tint to it, a little too dark. I mean, I might have to try that because this is really too light right now. You know, we'll see. I do have my gold Pickguard here that we saw in the first video, and I have it marked out where I'm going to cut this for the humbucker. I'm just going to use my Dremel tool, which I have right in the background here, and I'm going to use a thin cutting blade to cut out for the humbucker here. So actually, why don't we give a pause, we'll stand by, and I will get that going. Alright, so I'm going to try and cut this, and I'll do a complete hack job on this with this thin cutting blade on the Dremel. Apologize for that furnace, I'm just going to keep apologizing for it. It's going to be run 24/7. Get the RPMs right, that's going to be too slow. Like between 1500 and 2000 sounds good. That blade bit the dust. That happens. That happens. I'm surprised. It's going to be at least 2 or 3 blades to get through this cut, I'm sure. Alright, got the blade changed out, and that was completely my fault. I put too much torque on it. You really need to let the blade do the work. I'm horrible at that, so let's see if we can't get the rest of this thing cut. Alright, there we go. I mean, that doesn't look great. It's going to have to be filed quite a bit, probably enlarged some to this back side here, definitely. But what the hell? Like the guitar, I mean, it's rock and roll. You know, I'm not a precision guitar builder. I like to think of myself more like, remember when Eddie Van Halen was painting the tires of his BMX bike and running over his guitars, or painting the soles of his sneakers and stepping on his guitars and stuff like that. It's rock and roll, man. This hack job here will match this hack job here on the guitar that I'm swinging out of frame here. The guitar that I'm swinging out of frame here will match this perfectly. Alright? Cool, my friends. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Metal Shop. This is another little snippet, little addition to part 3. I believe you already saw me cut the hole here, the full-size pickup hole in the back of this brass plated, whatever, this gold plated pickguard, and I just drilled out you know, the hole for the single coil was still here. I drilled out here. I drilled the pilot hole from the back where it was easier to measure the pickup spacing, small pilot hole, and then I drilled the larger hole from the top. So I got a nice hole without a bunch of burrs. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to transfer over the pickups and the volume pots and the 5-way and everything. I'm going to transfer all this over to our, I'm just going to call it brass pickguard. I know it's probably really not brass, it's gold plated steel, whatever, but I'm going to call it brass. I'm going to transfer everything here over to the pickguard. I'm going to leave these Dragonfire pickups in place. I've heard some sound samples. They seem to sound pretty good. I'm also going to install the tremolo. I've already showed you guys this. Of course, now I'm going to open. I'm also going to install this, and basically I'm just going to let the camera run. I'll probably do a little fast forward with some music going to it. Not a lot of talking, and I'll probably have some copyright infringement materials going on in the background. Yeah, so, and let's see here. So no instructions with the pickguard, but there are 3 loose wires in the back. Red, 2 blacks. Pretty obvious that the 2 blacks are grounds, so assume one is going to the input, one ground to the input, one red for the input, and the other ground will go to the bridge, the tremolo claw in this case. Get rid of this, point of no return, you remove your shrink wrap and you can't return it, whoop-de-doo. Ah, this stuff is nasty. So, alright, and away we go. Alright, so I've run into some issues. I didn't remove enough finish here, like a dumbass. You know, I thought I got close enough to where the pickguard would cover it. There, you can see that right there. I mean, look at that. Damn it. I'm also running into an issue where I've got some kind of obstruction in the cavity. Probably these pots are, I'm not even sure what size these are, but it's not, something's not fitting in there properly. So I'm gonna have to, I'm doing some more, looks like I'm doing some more woodwork. So yeah, here we are. But that's you know, don't get discouraged. This is what you run into when you're you know, doing a custom project. You're gonna run into fitment issues like this, and you're gonna run into snafus, and it's just par for the course with customization and modification. So I'm gonna have to hand sand this, and hopefully I can get it close, get the finish close to, maybe I'll just leave it. I don't know. We shall see. Alright, my friends. More of part 3. Cool. Alright, my friends. So I did a bunch of bowl and jam work off camera. Apologize for that. So up here, you can see what I did. I sanded it real quick by hand. I just had a piece of 220 right here on the workbench. I just went after it by hand. I did put one coat of oil on already. Unfortunately, the rest of the guitar has, I don't remember, 3 or 4 coats of oil. So I'm going to have to go after that a few more times. What I also found was combination of the pot, for whatever reason, was hitting the back of the route back here. The screws for the humbucker were too long. I just had to snip those off. A little pair of nippers. And the wiring for the humbucker was kind of in this area here where there's a route, and it really needs to be tucked under the humbucker. A combination of those things was keeping it from fitting. Not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not, but yeah, you can see it right there. I just went after that with the Dremel, with a little sanding drum on, just to give it that. It's amazing actually how tight these things fit. The pickups, sorry, the pots, you know, they have the electronics that here, let me show you here. Let's see. So you can see here on the pot, you know, they have the lugs that stick out to one side, and they really need to be turned here. The lugs need to point down this way. If they're turned to the back, they interfere. It's actually much tighter than you would think. So I've got it now to the point where I can wire up the input jack, and I can solder on the ground to the claw here in the back. So I'm going to do that, and I think that will be a good stopping point for part 3. I'm going to try and get some, I might as well get some screws in here at this point. Oh, I wanted to mention, I left the chrome screws in the pickups. I'm not going to have gold really that are going to match. I'm not really into buying the gold. The cool thing about the chrome screws is that when they're surrounded by all this brass, all this gold, they actually reflect it. And I mean, if I didn't tell you, unless you got right up there and scrutinized it, you wouldn't even know the difference. So I'm going to just continue to work along here. I'll give another montage with some music, play some copyrighted movie in the background. Yeah, so please enjoy. I'm giving this is just my little hand signal. Let me know when to start the music. Cool. got everything all hooked up here. All the electronics are in and wired up. Just want to give a test. I got a little GK amp right over there. It's plugged into. There's the humbucker. Volume off. Okay, good. Those two pickups. Just that one. Okay, good. Okay, we're good there. And we're good there. There's the tone. Standard Strat wiring. So good. So anyway, well, let's shut that GK off. I mean, it's got a bunch of, it's got the gain and the chorus and echo and everything going on it, so a lot of hum. Anyway, so there. That will end part 3 of the tribute Fast Eddie Clarke. Coming right along. Looking pretty good. Awesome, my friends. Take care. Oh, sorry. Lose my train of thought. Please consider, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I got to hit 1,000 subscribers in order to meet YouTube's new ridiculous threshold for small creators such as myself. At a little over 500 now. Please give me a like and give me a share if you're so inclined. If you didn't like the video, let me know. Just please be constructive in your comments. All right, my friends. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.